Okay, we should be back. Go ahead and restart it manually.
Back again. Tell a
We
friend.
are back.
Yep, we're back.
Back again.
So like I was saying,
Yeah.
the support filament acts as a color change, so it adds time to the print. So it is a great idea specifically for models like this, to use the support filament. So if somebody was like paying for an order, or if it was just smaller, then yeah, it'd be the ideal situation to use something like the support filament. There's even some filament, I think we talked about it before, the kind that like dissolves in water. So you just like really dunk the whole tank in water and the support filament just falls off or disintegrates. That's even cooler. But if you want to put me on full screen, I was going to show at least taking a couple of these supports that I can take off.
There you go. Ding, bing, bong. There you are.
So we're going to show the semi-easy ones. So like this back one is just on the tail fins and the side wings. And for the most part, I could take this, maybe.
Watch as he snaps it. Yeah.
Ping.
Ta-da.
Peel that off. And then you peel it off the feather right there. And I don't want to break the other one, but you get the idea. For the most part, you can just kind of easily take them off. They're not super hard to take off. The normal stuff, but when you get to like the rope that's just floating there, that has supports going all the way around it.
Have you tried using Have you tried using a different geometry for the supports? Like instead of the tree style, using like a, just stick? Or...
So, well, the regular ones actually get more in the way. What I did do is this is a different version of the same model, and I took some tips from the comments to try and make it easier to get off.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was. It was basically like it increases the gap between the supports in the model slightly. And the point that does touch the model is thinner.
Yeah, smaller.
So it's supposed to come off easier. I just haven't taken the time because I couldn't find the tools, and then when I did, I didn't do it. But we'll see. That's the third time. Also, so the reason this one's tougher is the guy that designed this model. This is 50% the size that he designed it as.
Yeah, it's like supposed to be much bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, so when it was much bigger, it's much easier because the rope's much thicker and stronger.
Yeah, more robust.
And so I'm doing a weaker model that's already difficult to print, and I made it harder.
Would it be would it potentially be easier if you went with like a higher infill, or does that not really matter too much?
Not really, because the walls are pretty much, you can change the thickness of the walls. The infill doesn't really matter. Like the rope is so thin that it's already like 100%.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah.
But it does suggest to change your wall thickness. That way, that point where the anchor is actually stronger. But that's what the guy that redesigned it, he strengthened all the areas that needed to be strengthened, because the two that I sent you that I failed, like the anchor wasn't even printing attached.
Yeah.
But anyway, this, again, the challenge is at 30. You still see it does a good job printing it. It's just
it looks great.
Getting the supports off of it. Yeah. In other news, the board game has made more progress.
Yeah. We haven't.
Me and you tested it out.
Yeah, we hadn't talked about that yet.
Steampunk.
We tested it out at Steampunk. It was a good play. There's a couple of kinks we identified that might need to be ironed out.
Yeah, but that's one that unintentionally made the game too hard.
Yeah.
Most of the options. Well, first of all, I mean, the game is a storytelling game. I don't know if you want to put me back on full screen.
Oh yeah. Big mode.
So it's a story reading. Make a choice at the end of the story.
We can see reality. You bumped your camera.
Oh my god!
My immersion is broken.
You're talking about the green screen?
Yeah, there's a world behind that. What?
There we go. We're safe now. So anyway, it's a choose your own adventure board game. If you've ever seen a choose your own adventure book, or if you played games like dang, I forgot the name of the board game. I don't remember. But there's 2 board games out there. That's what inspired me. Was I've actually read Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid, and we played the House of Danger is the board
House of
game.
Danger. That's right. Yeah.
So I decided to make one and make the first one, hopefully first of a couple, based on Buford Black, the main mascot of RUM-Gaming. So it's called Galactic Enforcer: The Adventures of Buford Black, and that's our little cover page so far. And then it gives you a preface and a like objective, like why you're playing this game and what his main goals are.
You may need to hold the back end of the card up. The whitewash doesn't. The camera doesn't show the text very well. So just to showcase that there's text on it. It's not just white paper, folks. There's text on there.
There we go.
There you go.
A little bit closer. Get it away from the light.
Yeah.
So there's shows you here's our little generic map still that we have somebody working with us on.
We do have somebody working on it.
Point of the game is literally just get to the end of the map or as close to it as you can within a time limit. And there's obstacles along the way. And throughout the game, you'll either go forward or backward depending on the choice you make or the roll of your dice. Most of them are pretty basic. It's either go forward 1 or 2 or go backward 1 or 2 or stay where you are. And when we played it, I had one card that I didn't think would limit you so much, but it makes it where you can only go 1 space the rest of the game.
Yeah, even if the game tells you to go forward multiple spaces.
Yeah. So it made it for like the rest of the game. It was like no point in even doing option B on the card. So I just had to go back, revamp that one to be like, for the next 4 turns or something.
It's like you can roll to either go 2 spaces forward or 1 space back, or you can do nothing and just go 1 space forward. It's like, well, we can't go 2 spaces forward if we roll correctly. So we might as well just not do anything at all and go 1 space forward.
Yeah. So it kind of ruined the game. I mean, we still progressed, but it was just like, kind of took the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And then there was, I can't remember if it was you pointed out or Charlie pointed out or something about it doesn't actually tell you where to start.
Yeah, I pointed that out.
How to start.
Yeah, I pointed that out. The instructions tell you like how to play the game and the sequence of everything, but it doesn't have any instructions on the actual like setup and starting of the game. Are we supposed to deal out these cards? Like, are we supposed to just roll and then do there was no instruction on that. So
that's actually a good way to fix that. I need to have a setup instruction. So I have contents, and then I have like goals or rules.
Yeah, but no setup.
Nothing actually tells you how to set the board up and what to do, like how to get going.
Yeah.
And that's just one of those things again. When you're the one designing it, well, I know how to play it.
Yeah. That's why we play test, right? That's why we play test, alpha test, beta test, and then release.
It's just comical, of all the board games I play and how good I am at writing instructions. Never thought about like, well, how do you play?
Yeah. How do we start this thing? Because I remember like we were sitting in the room and we had everything laid out and we're sitting there and I'm like, all right, what now?
Yeah, and I was just setting it up too. I'm just like, all right, I'll put these cards here, these cards here. All right, we're good to go. Granted, some of it's sort of self-explanatory because on the finalized board, you'll be putting the cards around the board. But even then, I should have a set of instructions that says put the cards around the board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's coming along. This is our little printed on cardstock, just printed at home. So you got ally cards. And then you have our information cards, which we need to change. That was the other suggestion, to make it say like information item or information card or something.
Intel card.
Just information.
Yeah.
And then we have the actual just item cards. And then we have event cards.
Yeah.
And the premise of the game is you just flip over the event cards, read them, and make a choice at the end and move your guy along the board. Occasionally, it'll tell you to either you gain an information, or you gain an ally, or an item.
And you can use those items for further events that you may come across in the future.
And then once either the timer's over, or you run out of event cards, or you get to the end of the map, you choose from 3 stacks of ending cards, which was the other thing I need to work on, how to pick those, because at the moment it was like, pick 2 and choose one, but there are some losing endings. So it's like, well, why would you ever choose the ending one?
Yeah, it should be like randomly pick randomly pick 2, and then out of those 2 randomly pick 1, or just randomly pick 1 from the whole pile, and that's your ending.
Yeah. This was like, I like the idea of you having multiple choice, but then you would never pick the bad ending.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Unless you're the unlucky one to draw 2 bad endings, and you just have to pick the least of the worst, the shinier of the
but
2
if I remember
shits.
correctly, I think there's 3. If I can get them to separate here, you got only 1 through 14 spaces on the board, 15 through 29, or you actually got to the end for 30 plus endings. And I think each section has like 1 bad ending. So it's like you would never have 2 bads to choose from. So again, just those things, like it sounded good in theory until you start playing it out.
Workshopping it right here, even just hearing you say that, I feel like the lower on the board should have decreasingly less bad endings as you get further up the board. So like the 114, you should have a much higher chance of getting a bad ending than you did at the 30. Whereas right now you have pretty much the same chance of getting a bad ending, whether you completed the game or not.
4 in the first one, 2 in the second one, and 1 in the last one.
Yeah.
But then even still, if you still shouldn't be choosing from multiple endings.
Yeah, agreed.
Draw 1 and that's what you get.
Agree.
And then just if you got to the ending, you have a 1 in 8 chance to lose.
Yeah.
But it's coming along. We've done 2 playthroughs, just need to do a few more, and then apply those changes and play a few more and apply any more changes until we don't have any changes to make.
Keep on tweaking until it's good to go, and then we can release it out for you guys. We're planning.
Then find somebody to print it.
Have somebody to print it. But I think you were planning on figuring out a way to send it out so that people could print it themselves if they wanted to, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I did this one. It's just kind of a pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I can ideally do that, then yes. But, as far as raising funds for RUM-Gaming too, then if we can find a way to reasonably priced printing.
We could start a Kickstarter for it.
Yeah.
We could.
Good. But still have to find somebody to do it, though.
Yeah. Speaking on funding, though, this touches on it a little bit. We'll move on to the next item on our docket. If any of y'all have been tuned into our Discord or our social medias at all, you may have noticed that our streaming and YouTube output has upped pretty significantly. We're live on YouTube pretty regularly. It seems like, at least 2 to 3 times a week, there's somebody live on there for a few hours at a time. We'll even get lucky sometimes, have multiple people streaming in the same day. So our Twitch,
Sundays we kind of go back to back.
Yeah. So our Twitch and our YouTube channel is the place to be right now, because we're putting out all kinds of really fun content, really great streams happening. I know Scrivdoc right now is running through the NASCAR 25 career mode. He's made it into the Xfinity series. His stream was last night. A little rocky, starting out in the brand new in the Xfinity series, but he's getting the hang of it. He's a pretty good driver, so we'll see how that goes. I'm doing my Milsim Ops on Sunday, which, stay tuned, there's one coming up on Sunday. I didn't do one last week because we were doing just a training, so not really much not much fun going on there, but this Sunday, make sure you tune in for that. Goat here has been doing some really fun Ark stuff, building his bases in Ark, and looks like Jandera joined you the other day, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, we had to fix her computer. The first time she played Ark, it basically burned out her CPU cooler.
Oh no! Wow.
So, yeah, a little bit of troubleshooting over a couple of days. Found out ran CPU hardware monitor, and so it was running like 93 degrees.
Oof.
Reached out there and touched the hose, and it was liquid cooling too, for those of y'all that don't know. So
93 degrees Celsius?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, reached out there to touch the hose, and it like damn near burned me. It's like, okay, we need to shut this thing down.
Yep.
But fortunately, it didn't cause any further damage, and I put
good.
a better cooler in there. So
that's good.
Now she's got double the cooling power.
Yeah,
she's able to play Ark.
I need to put some liquid cooling on my machine, mainly my GPU. I need to figure out a way to. I just need to put a liquid cooler on the GPU. It's I replace the fans and they spin, but for some reason the actual software and the firmware doesn't recognize them, so I don't get accurate temperature and fan readouts, and I don't know if they're being like controlled by the firmware like they should be. No issues with the cooling so far, but you know, it's just better safe than sorry, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm still jealous every time we go to a convention of those people that drop the money for like the full colored liquid tanks.
You know, that stuff, since now that I've done it professionally, it's really, if you compare it to the total cost of the PC, it's really not that much more expensive than buying an AIO, just like an all-in-one cooler. Like, you know, like you would normally buy, like from NZXT or Corsair or Cooler Master, they sell like the you know, built-in CPU cooler and radiator. Like, you can, if you have the only downside of the custom like cooling with the colored liquid is the tube bending. That's the only part that's a pain in the ass, is making sure it seals and bending the tubes the right way. But as far as cost, it's really not that expensive.
Well, I don't normally, I've never done GPU cooling. And so having the one that's all like one tank that does CPU and GPU cooling,
yeah,
I feel much more of a cost than just
I mean, no,
a standard really. CPU liquid cooler.
Not really. I mean, you would have to buy the thing that sucks about GPU cooling is the header. You know, the actual cooler for the GPU, you have to find it for your specific GPU. They don't make just like a universal one, like they do for CPUs. So you can't just go and buy any old GPU cooler, you know, for $100 off Amazon and slap it on. It's just not going to work that way. And for my particular situation, it might cost a little bit more because they don't make my GPU anymore. So, you know, but I mean, if you have a reasonably new, still in production GPU, that the headers for it aren't that expensive. You're looking, again, comparative to the total cost of the computer, it's really not that bad. You're looking at maybe $150-200.
Well, yeah, but when you're on a budget,
when you're on a budget, that's out of the option.
A $60 CPU cooler, or add $200 more.
100%. My thing is, I don't think liquid cooling, custom liquid cooling, is a good idea for anybody on a budget. Even, I mean, like, even if you had like a little bit of an extended budget where you probably could afford it, if it's your first computer and you don't know anything about it, I wouldn't recommend it. I really wouldn't.
I mean, honestly, if you're going to be real honest about it, it's like, how many people are actually even seeing my computer other than people that live in my house?
True.
So it's like, is the extra $200 really worth it at all?
I mean, like, for some people, like for me, for example, I didn't build the computer because I think other people would like the way it looks. I built the computer because I like looking at it. You know, again, I wanted to have the custom tubing because I think it looks cool. You know, and not only that, it is. We'll just get it out of the way and say it is better. Significantly better than air-cool, period. End of story. There is no discussion. It is better.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I'll never do air CPU cooling. But I've never really had a problem with my GPU overheating.
No, most GPUs don't, unless you're overclocking.
Yeah.
Most GPUs don't. But, you know, it's cool. It's just cool. I like the pretty colors.
I mean, I guess that's just where that cheap part of me comes in, where I'm like, I don't know, man. That same
Yeah.
reason, like,
Well,
my
I mean,
father-in-law has one of those like badass like machine-looking cases, but he had to drop $200 on the case.
yeah,
I'm like, I'm not doing that.
yeah,
I'm not going to buy a $200 case. I'm not going to buy a $200 cooling system.
yeah. Well, I mean, in my circumstance, a liquid cooling system would make sense, right? Like I have an older GPU. It's already been in a liquid cool system. I've already taken it apart and I've had to redo the, the thermals and the thermal paste and the thermal pads. It's like, you know, I would significantly benefit from a liquid cooling system on my GPU, but the large majority of gamers don't need it. You don't need GPU cooling. You really don't.
As long as you have good cooling on your case.
As long as you have your fans routed properly and you're in a well ventilated area where your computer is, your GPU will be fine. But yeah,
I was gonna look now, but I'm not playing a game, so obviously it's gonna be cold.
Yeah, complete and total. What's the word? Off track of the topic, but yeah, if you haven't been checking out our YouTube and our Twitch, make sure you're tuning in because we're out here grinding. We're getting those streams, getting that content out there. Still working on TikTok stuff. It's a process, you got to keep in mind, folks. It's just me and him, me and Goat here. We do have lives and jobs. I can't do it full time, unfortunately. So it's a slow process, but the TikToks are coming. I'm still also waiting for any suggestions on cool military stories and topics that we can use. So if you have any, please go to our Discord, comment on our Twitch streams. Let us know. Give us your ideas. Tell us your stories. I want to hear them.
We want to share.
Yeah, and we want to share them. And then for the final thing for the RUM-Gaming specific news, we just want to go over, just do a quick little recap of Steampunk November. It's a really fun, really fun event. Some great shows. It was awesome because we had Little Girl Big Show came back this year for kind of the main stage performance, as it were. And it was a great show as always, and we got to see the first show of Morning Night, which if you haven't seen Morning Night come across your social media feeds, you should look them up. They put on a wonderful show. It's the same that works with Little Girl Big Show. It's Big Show from Little Girl Big Show, but they have their own show called Morning Night, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you check them out. Just a blast.
Last year she was just referred to as Big Show.
Yeah, last year she was
called
just
Morning Night.
Now she's Morning Night. Yeah, she's got her own identity. She's got her own show. She's doing big things. So make sure you check them out. That's a lot of fun. We participated in the teapot racing. And man, that was fun, but what an embarrassing show that we put on. It was a stellar performance by the juggernaut, I gotta say.
The regulator. We the first race we did pretty bad. The second race I actually got to attend and watch in person. We didn't even make it off the starting line, which was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Yeah, we thought we'd swap out the batteries so we get more power because the first race wasn't enough power. So I was like, well, let's just put fresh batteries in there. Well, apparently I put dead batteries in there.
Yeah, dead batteries.
So it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. It was pretty embarrassing at the moment, but Grace, the driver for the weekend, took it like a champ, laughed it off. We had a good laugh about it. It was all in good fun, good conversation, good people, really cool teapots that people entered in. I don't know if you got a chance to browse and see all the competitors, but
I got to see them drive by.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. There's some pretty neat stuff. Let's see what else happened. Man, we have we have a catalog of pictures that we're taking there. We will be posting them somewhere soon. Whether it be
Facebook.
Yeah, it'll probably be on our Facebook. We might post some up on our website. on our in our Discord, most likely. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're following all of those outlets to see those pictures. We saw some people with some really cool costumes. I know one in particular that really caught my eye. There was a lady. She was dressed up in all like a phoenix, like, you know, red and orange with like the wings. It was gorgeous. Let me see if I can find it here.
And we do have a couple pictures up there. They got the picture of us, at least, in the teapot racer.
Yeah,
I thought that was the winning teapot racer. It was just a random example.
Yeah, here we go. I found.
But yeah, we don't. Continuous steampunk, though, we're not quite sure if we're going to be going back next year as a vendor, but might be back one day just to visit the show and have a reason to go to Dallas.
Yeah, here we go. I gotta pull it up here for you guys to see. It was just a stunning costume, just really cool. But yeah, we got to see people, you know, just, you know, decked out to the nines at steampunk. It was fun. But, you know, like Goat said, sadly, we probably won't be going back as a vendor, unfortunately.
Yeah, logistically, it's a lot of money for the two of us to travel to a city.
Yeah.
Hauling a trailer and everything else. And good for, you know, spreading the word of what we do. But our secondary goal is to make money to keep doing what we're doing. And it's actually like costing us more personally to help RUM-Gaming make a little bit of money.
Yeah. And, you know, a big shout out to the people at Steampunk November. They really do put on a great event.
Yeah, still great to attend.
Yeah,
but for our small operation, it's a little bit more of a challenge to get there.
Yeah, all the vendors there are, you know, super awesome. There's a couple people that we'll see that that we saw that, you know, had been there, you know, before. So they definitely have like a really nice, you know, community built there. It was awesome to be welcomed and to be a part of it for 2 years. So yeah, big shout out to the Steampunk November people. We had a blast. It was, you know, really great to do the show, and we hope to be back at least as attendees. Yeah, visitors should be fun.
Keep shaking my camera loose over here.
Yeah. But moving on to our next topic, Goat, looks like you've got some stuff for our veteran topic of the month. What you got for us?
Oh, jeez. I moved one out to my other screen to make it easier, and then forgot I moved it over.
You lost it, huh?
I did it again. Yeah, so first, you know, some of it's just random pieces of information that, you know, we find along the way, trying to share the knowledge to other veterans that might not know. One of which I didn't know was that you can actually request, you know, I assume most people know you can request a copy of your DD-214, but from the same group, the archives group, you can get a free copy of your medal and ribbons along with your records. Pretty simple process. You just go and basically prove who you are.
Yeah.
And they ship you a box with every ribbon and medal you've ever earned so that you can like build your little cool
shadow
memorabilia box or shadow box. So I thought about doing that because like I got like remnants of mine from like the last time I wore my dress uniform, but that was like 2 years before I got out. So I'm like, I earned all kinds of shit in my deployment. Like I even, not a lot of people know that, not that I have a reason to talk about it, but I earned cavalry spurs while I was deployed on my last deployment. Like things like that I could display in a shadow box.
Yeah. It's funny. I think I know where my sea bag is, and I know in my sea bag are my dress uniforms and some of my like BDUs that haven't moved since when I left my barracks. Like it's been like I haven't touched the sea bag since I packed it at my barracks when I transferred out of the military. And I'm fairly certain all of my ribbons are still on those motherfuckers, dude.
It's funny that y'all call them sea bags and we just call them duffel bags.
Yeah, we call them sea bags.
It's the exact same bag as I look it up.
Fun fact: it is actually watertight. You can make it watertight. Well, no, never mind. It's not watertight. It is not watertight, but it does hold water. Don't ask me how or ask me how I know that. So for those of you, I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you this. In the spirit of sharing military stories, as I previously discussed, I'll tell one of mine. So when I got to Pensacola at my A school, I don't know if it's still this way in the Navy, but in the Navy, when you
what's A school?
So so for me,
your job training.
Yeah. So in the Navy, it's referred to as C school for your job training, but I called it A school, and people in my rate called it A school because, for those of you who don't know, I joined the Navy undesignated, which means I was a packed airman. I did not have a job. So they sent me to Pensacola, which was like the aviation training center for the Navy, for a month to basically just learn how to be an undesignated airman. Yeah.
A little bizarre.
Yeah, and then when I finally struck my rate and got my actual job, I went back to school to learn how to do my actual job. So my first stint of school was an A school in Pensacola, and when you're in your schooling, there's like levels and tiers. They call them Liberty levels.
So that doesn't include basic training, right?
No, that does not include basic training. This is after basic training. Yeah.
I was just making sure, because in the Army, basic training is where you learn how to be an undesignated soldier, basically, and then you go to your schooling.
Well, no, I mean, the basic training teaches you how to be a sailor. A school taught me how to be an airman, and then C school taught me how to be an aviation machinist mate.
So what's an airman?
An undesignated aviation, right? Like, so I learned the basics of aviation and like what like the line shack does and how to do a flight line. I learned like aviation firefighting and things like that. Like just
so an Army translation, that'd be like went to go into basic training and then go into school to be an infantryman, and then they gave you a job.
Yeah, basically.
Because they do have infantry training, but yeah, they don't do it like that. You either choose infantry as your MOS or you don't.
Yeah. No,
so it's interesting that they basically teach you can go in as an infantryman in translation and then choose your job later.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing. You can go in undesignated in the Navy and then choose your job later.
Yeah, the Army doesn't let you do that.
Yeah.
If you went in undesignated, you're going to be undesignated. Like infantry as the translation. If you went in as infantry, you are infantry. That is your job.
Yeah. No, they're called undesignated, and you could be an undesignated seaman. You don't have to be an undesignated airman. But anyway,
well, like the same concept, right? One's on a ship, one's
right.
Not.
Yeah. Now, anyway, for my story,
did Ben change his name?
He just changed the capitalization. Looks like. But anyway, back to my story. While you're in school, there's different Liberty levels. You have 1, 2, and 3. And 1 Liberty level means you cannot leave base at all, period. Like everything, you can't leave base. Level 2 means you can leave base with a buddy. And then level 3 means you can leave base and you're free to go wherever you want. Same
thing happens in our schooling. It's like the first 30% you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, and so that it kind of turns into like a high school, where you've got your freshmen and then you've got your seniors, and so they always have the level 3 Liberty people kind of help onboard all the incoming new airmen or whatever, and so for those of you who don't know what hazing is, you should look it up, but me and the front desk yeoman that is in charge of checking people in, making sure they have everything they need for their barracks room, we decided we'd mess with somebody, and we told them that in order for them to pass the initial, inspection for your barracks room, you had to bring your sea bag. You had to check your sea bag for watertight integrity. And so we had this guy go up 2 flights of stairs, fill his sea bag in the bathtub with water, and then bring it back down to show us so that we could sign off on the fake form. we had another guy.
Had a bathtub.
We had another guy bring down his mattress. He carried his mattress down 3 flights of stairs so that we could check the tag on it, which you didn't have to do. but we would just
that's what I was thinking. Like, he brought the full duffel bag of water.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
gotta be like
he huffed
200
that thing.
pounds.
Yeah,
like,
he huffed that thing down 2 flights of stairs. It was incredible.
There's no way he didn't make a mess.
Oh man, it was fun stuff.
Actually, just got rid of a bunch of my stuff. The part of the purge of when we moved, I was just like, okay, I'm obviously not going to use this crap because I was there for the transition from BDUs to ACUs.
Mm-hmm.
So I had like 10 pairs of BDUs and 10 pairs of ACUs, and I got like my dress uniform from when I first got out of basic that'll never fit me again. And then I have my current dress uniform. I got like 6 pairs of boots, and I got things that I probably shouldn't have that should have been turned in that I never turned in. And it's like, I literally probably had, like, if you were to put it in like, you know, sea bag or duffel bag terms, I probably easily had like 4 or 5 duffel bags worth of shit.
Yeah.
That I've never touched since I got out of the military.
Yeah.
And so I was finally like, all right, I gotta purge some of this stuff. I've been dragging this shit from place to place for 15 years. So I've like messaged like you and Gert, and I was like, y'all want this shit? No? All right, it's gone then.
Yeah.
Like,
You should have taken it to like a surplus store or something. Be like, hey, you guys want this shit?
I donated a lot of it.
That's
so
good.
Like, so there's another nonprofit in town. So instead of like Salvation Army or Goodwill, there's a local resale shop.
Mm-hmm.
And probably like those guys. Like I did the mall event with them. They're part of the ones that host the mall event.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to meet them firsthand and whatnot. So I was like, now we try and donate everything we can to those people.
That's cool.
Because they actually help out. I mean, not that Goodwill and Salvation Army doesn't help out, but you know, because they're more smaller and local, they're more focused on helping my town.
Yeah, local community.
You know, and like I said, Goodwill does its part too, but they have a greater agenda. This group only gives a shit about helping out Bartlesville.
Yeah.
So,
That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, moving all that stuff around, like, yeah, sometimes I wonder how I carried all that crap everywhere, like when I was in the military.
Yeah.
I think I had Grace put on like my full duffel bag, and it about killed her.
Speaking of
It was a duffel bag.
Speaking of about killing people, that's a pretty good segue into the next topic you have for our veteran news. Why don't you tell us about the military housing inspections for 2025? I see you got some stuff on there.
So I put that one on there because it also reminds me of when we first got to Hawaii, which is another funny story. But yeah, so there's an article. Oh my God, I'm gonna share the article here with the class for those that like to read and follow along. So it's an interesting article about an audit that finds risk in military base housing. Basically, it was just kind of reminds me of like typical military standard of like pencil whipping stuff and like, that's fine, or, you know, good enough for government work.
Yeah.
And so until they like did an actual inspection in September 2025, and this was across 7 military communities, but it looks like it was just like one base. But yeah, they went in there with actual testing equipment and found aging lead-based paint, and they found
just
black mold.
A sorry state of affairs.
Like, yeah, sealed windows so that, you know, there was no ventilation and no option to escape for an emergency. Like the list just kind of went on and on. And I was just like, yeah, this is kind of standard practice in some bases. But the funny story, though, is that when we went to Hawaii, so, I couldn't quote you the years, but the base we were on in Hawaii had downsized like a whole shit ton. And they actually like stripped and shut down a large portion of the housing, like what we called stairwell housing, where it's kind of like 6 apartments. And they stripped them down, took all the central air units out of it, and shut off the plumbing, shut off the electric, and just let them kind of like get retaken by nature almost. Then, an entire, brigade from Korea decided they were going to move to Hawaii. So they said they'd take an entire brigade and bring them to Hawaii. So all of a sudden they had to go and like reopen all this housing. But rather than reopen it properly, they just simply like turned the water and electric on and was like, there you go. No central air, no central heat, just an abandoned building that we reactivated water and plumbing to.
Jeez.
And they had the windows to these houses was like 3-inch slot. What do you call it? They're like glass blinds, basically, going horizontally. So it was just glass to glass that you would like twist a knob to open and close. So it wasn't really airtight either. But then simultaneously, on the other side of the base was literally brand new houses like the one in the picture. I don't know if you want to pull up that article.
Oh yeah, let me do that.
But it was like your standard like new housing development that you see being built in any town. Like it was full blown houses with 2-car garages, fenced in, 6-foot privacy fence yards.
Yeah.
Like nice houses. But there was only so many of those available, and then once those ran out, everybody else got stuck in the 6-family apartment buildings with no air or heat and shitty glass blinds and tons of problems that probably weren't properly inspected, like this inspection. It's like, man, makes me wonder if they would actually did a proper inspection back when we were there, what they would have found.
It's funny because I have the exact opposite experience with my dorm inspections, my barracks inspections, dude. I would get dinged on inspection every fucking time. Dude, one time I lost my shit, dude. Because the people, they weren't even in my command, number one. They weren't even inspecting my stuff. They were expecting my roommate's stuff. But they forwarded it to my command anyway. And you know what they dinged me on? They said that my trash hadn't been taken out. And in my bathroom, I took a picture of my entire dorm room before I left for the day because I knew they were going to inspect. And they dinged me because before I left that morning, I blew my nose with some toilet paper and left the tissue in the trash. It was the only thing in the bathroom trash can was one singular tissue. And they're like, nope, gear drift. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I can't have a tissue in my trash. Like, what the fuck, dude? I was so mad.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, that was
inspections are a whole different world.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I remember when that happened. I was like 3 months from getting out, and so I called my buddy who lived off base, and I was like, dude, I'm coming over and I'm moving in. I got 3 months left. You're just gonna have to deal with me for 3 months. I can't fucking take this barrack shit anymore, dude. And so I fucking packed my shit and I moved in with him for the last 3 months. I lived off base. I said, fuck it. They did not like that. When they found out I wasn't living there anymore, they weren't happy, but there was nothing they could do about it. It's like, you can't, I'm not breaking any rules. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's why a lot of people, even when I was in the military, or in the army, a lot of people didn't like living in the barracks because most of the time it was your own command inspecting, but they kind of went on, if you had more than one company living in the same barracks room, then it would kind of rotate between like this company would do the inspection this week, this one to do it the next week, and so on and so on. But it was never really that bad. Most of them were just looking for obvious mistakes. Whether you had too much liquor or not keeping your, like as soon as you go inspect your kid's room, you're not expecting the world.
No, these motherfuckers, every time I got inspected, dude, they were looking for absolute, like, it had to be a fucking museum or else I was getting dinged. Like, what the dude, I was so mad at that
like
whole
the ones
shit.
you see on TikTok, like the whole like white glove.
Yeah, bro. Like, it literally
running
was
your
like
finger
that
on the top of your door jamb or something.
It was literally like that with every single inspection I ever had in the Navy. Every single one of them was exactly like that.
I only personally had to deal with a couple, and that was when like I first got to Germany before the wife got there. But there's, it was my sergeant doing the inspection, and she'd give me a hard time, but that's because she was like a mother of like 3 and was coming there ripping my ass like, if my fucking 3 children keep the fucking house clean, you can keep your single barracks room clean. Like, well, you're right, but
yeah, I'm fucking 20. I'm fucking 22. I'm a young kid. I don't have fucking time to clean. What the fuck, man? Like, I'm trying to get out and do shit.
No, I wasn't doing anything, but it was just giving me the hard time. It is crazy the few times I would go and visit the barracks and you see these people have like 32 liquor bottles in their room, and it's like, bruh.
Yeah, that would never.
Like, you got more liquor than the entire floor needs. You're gonna get your ass in trouble. But they'd usually play it smart, as long as there wasn't a surprise inspection. They would just like take it all out to their car or something the night before.
Yeah, my roommate, dude, I don't know how he never got in trouble for inspection, because his shit was always way worse than mine. But what he would do is like all week he'd have like a pathway through his section with like where he could just get around, and the rest of it was just complete fucking mess. And he would, because our closets, they weren't allowed to inspect or open the closets. That was the rules. So when he knew there was an inspection, he would just shove everything in his fucking closet and call it good. It's like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, but then, if a good inspection, they should be looking through that closet too. So.
Yeah, no, they're not. They weren't allowed to look in your closet. Your closet is like your only private space where you can put
everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, before you go too far over, we should talk about a few games.
Yeah, let's talk about some games. We are getting a little over. Thankfully, there's not much movement. It's the end of the year. There's not a whole lot going on in the gaming industry. Most of the stuff that we have to talk about has already come out. But one of the first things I wanted to talk about is make sure you log into your Steam and you get your Steam awards in. Make your nominations.
Nope. We're too late.
Oh, it's over?
You said you had to do it by December 1st.
Oh, well, if you haven't done it, snooze you lose, I suppose.
Hang on.
This
article says the 11th. Let me see. It's 2 different articles.
It should still be up.
It looks like you have until tomorrow. So.
Yeah, you have until tomorrow. So make sure you do that. Make sure that, these studios that put out these great games get the recognition they deserve. I think that's really important. I made mine. I don't remember exactly what they all were. I kind of wanted to talk about it, but we're running out of time, so we'll skip it for now. Fallout 4, Bethesda announced that they're releasing an anniversary edition, so it's kind of, Fallout 4 seems to be getting the Skyrim treatment, which, some people are happy about, some people aren't, and to be honest with you, I kind of side with Todd Howard in the sense that if people keep buying it, he's going to keep releasing it. That being said, this release of the anniversary
we've been seeing that with a lot of other games too.
Yeah, a lot of things are getting re-released and remastered and things like that, which is kind of cool. But there's already some issues with the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. It hasn't been received well. People were, Me included, I'll admit, were upset that they even released an anniversary edition. I would have much rather preferred a remaster of Fallout New Vegas. And that seems to be kind of the general consensus. It's like, why would you spend time on re-releasing Fallout 4, which was probably your least popular IP?
Well, I think more people were excited about the expansions to it than they were the base game.
Yeah, I mean,
things like not Far Cry.
Far Harbor.
It was the dinosaur one. Wasn't it like a dinosaur version of it or something? And you had Far Harbor.
No, there wasn't a dinosaur one, but no, I mean I will say the DLC for Fallout 4 is probably the best DLC of any Fallout content. Like Nuka World and Far Harbor were incredible DLCs. I will say that. I'll even say that they were better than the base game. Like, I enjoyed both of those a lot. But, you know, the release has been really buggy. And like I said, I would have preferred a New Vegas remaster over an Anniversary Edition release. Now, they did release a couple new features. They added some more, like, survival-y things, so, like, fishing. They pulled a couple of ideas from Fallout 76 and brought them into Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, the general consensus seems to be that nobody really asked for it. They could have been spending their time and resources on something that everybody has been asking for, which is like I've said, a New Vegas remaster. On December 2nd, Destiny 2 Renegades expansion released. I figured I'd highlight that because it looked kind of cool. Looked like it had kind of like a cowboy type theme to it. Looks pretty interesting. I'm kind of blown away that Destiny 2 is still, still trucking.
Releasing things.
Yeah, still trucking. I mean, it seems to be, I had fun with it, but it got to a point where, it started to turn into almost like WoW, where it seems like every year I'm having to drop $30 for an expansion. It's like, I can't, I can only do that for one game. I can't be doing that for every game I play.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of why I haven't gone back to it. Whenever I do, I'm like, I'll just go back to WoW.
Yeah, and now it's at the point where it's like, even as cool as some of this stuff seems, and some of these expansions are, and some of the stuff they put into the game, it's like, I'm so discouraged from even jumping into it, because it's the investment that I would have to make to get caught up is just crazy. And so, it is what it is. But December 2nd, that came out. December 4th, Octopath Traveler released the third game in their series called Octopath Traveler 0.
I didn't realize it was the third.
Yeah, it's the third game in the series. I played a little bit of the first one, a little bit of the second one. They're great games. I mean, if you're a fan of like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem, those types of games, those strategy, top-down turn-based games, really, really great storyline. I think the graphics are beautiful. I love the art style. Goat will probably disagree with me, but I found it very charming. And to be honest with you, one of my all-time favorite voice actors, I don't know if they are in Octopath Traveler 0, but they were in 1 and 2. Gideon Emery, if you don't know who he is, if you've played Final Fantasy 12, he's the voice of Balthier. One of my favorite voice actors. He hasn't done a whole lot, but what he has done has been exquisite. Next up on the list, Elden Ring Night Rain is getting some DLC. I don't know if any of you remember, but Night Rain was Elden Ring's kind of like a roguelike rendition to the Souls-like genre. So they're releasing an expansion called The Forsaken Hollows. I didn't get any release details on when that's coming out, but that should be coming out soon if it's not out already. And then one
I didn't realize that's a standalone co-op game. I thought
Yeah.
it was a DLC for
No.
Elden Ring.
No. It's its standalone thing. It's a completely different premise to Elden Ring. It's more like
It's got classes, bosses,
Yeah.
shifting map areas.
Yeah, it's a roguelike, so it's one of those things where you start out, weak, and you fight bosses and you get stronger, and then if you die, you kind of level up your overarching profile, and then you go in again fresh, and you continue to fight bosses. And you build your character up until you die, and then kind of roguelike type deal. At least from my understanding, I haven't played it. I don't know for sure. This is just what it seems like from the outside looking in. But yeah, so that's either out or coming out soon. And then
it was. Well, I thought I had it pulled up. I thought I said the 4th. Maybe not.
The 4th. Either way, yeah. And then the last thing we have on our list before we end it, we are 4 minutes over, so we'll try and make it quick. One that actually I was surprised caught Goat's eye, but Marvel Cosmic Invasion. He pointed out to me, it kind of reminds you of the old like Avengers Assembled arcade game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or like those like 4 to like 6 player games. You had like the Simpsons, and you had the Marvel one or X-Men one.
Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had one.
Yeah, Turtles. This one reminds me of the
Streets
Avengers
of Rage.
one,
Streets of Rage was one of them too. Yeah.
And I actually played it. I downloaded the the demo, and played it a little bit. And it literally plays like the old Avengers arcade game, but with cleaner graphics. I mean, it's still that generation of graphics, like
that
old school graphics,
pixel 2D art style.
It's still pixelated, but it's clean pixels. But it was pretty cool. I could see why other people would be interested in it. And like I said, I'm not interested in playing it. I was just interested to test it out, just for that little bit of nostalgia, to see how it compared to like the old arcade game, and it was pretty comparable. Yeah. So if you were a fan of that and you do like reminiscing, could be worth jumping into. I don't know when it's like official release, or no, I think it was released out like the day after I played the demo. Pretty sure it's already out. Yeah, it was December 1st, and I played like November 30th.
Yeah, and I keep harping on it, but I'll say it again. My most look forward to game is coming out January 12th. There's an actual release date. They don't have it as Q1 2026 anymore. Cairn. It's the survival climbing game I've been harping on for months and months and months now. I'm so damn excited for this game to come out. I cannot wait.
I'm so excited for the Warcraft expansion.
You know what? Let's talk about that for 1 second.
We also have a release date.
Yeah, but let me talk about that for a second, because I did just see this. This is some news. Now, one of the biggest reasons why I'm excited for the new WoW expansion, they actually made an announcement about a few days ago. They announced that if you pre-order it, they are opening up access now to test out and try the home building feature that they're adding into the new expansion.
Yeah, that started last Tuesday.
Yeah, so that's super cool. So if you want to check out the new home building, which is the most exciting feature of the expansion in my opinion, I'm super excited to test that out. It is available for you to try out and play around with now in WoW. So if you haven't pre-ordered Midnight, you should.
The Jandare and Mudslide, yeah, they're all on top of it. I literally have not even looked at it, and it's been out a week.
I haven't pre-ordered it.
Yeah, Rum has a neighborhood.
Yeah, so okay, well there you go. So if you want to join the Rum neighborhood, make sure you check us out on WoW. I don't know if I'll be pre-ordering it this month. I don't know. I might wait. We'll see.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff to earn. So those that are interested, like there's even housing items to go get in Remix right now. So there's housing items you can get from dungeons and raids. Like it's gonna bring back that purpose to go do old content if you want to collect more items to decorate your housing with.
That's pretty cool.
So really, it's just my job to collect shit for Jandare to use.
Yeah, because y'all have the shared account, right? Yeah.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure we still have our own houses. I just mean she cares about the housing. I don't. So. Yeah,
but y'all have the family accounts of the stuff that you get.
Yeah. But whatever I collect, she'll be able to use.
Yeah. You're the grinder, she's the decorator, just like always.
Yeah, basically.
All right, well,
that's all I got for everything.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it for our episode. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Standard spiel. If you haven't already, make sure you follow us here on Twitch. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel where we are live on as well right now. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, consider using your Twitch Prime. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, please consider using your Twitch Prime sub on us. You don't have to use it on us, but consider it. That helps us out greatly. It costs you nothing. It helps us out a lot. Make sure you check out our Facebook page. You go to our website, join our Discord where we post all of our updates. Our Discord is going to be the most accurate place to find all of the most recent stuff that's going on with RUM. So if you want to stay super locked in, Discord is the place to go. If you want people to play games with, or if you want somebody to talk to, join our Discord. If you're a veteran and you're in a crisis, please call the Veteran Crisis Line. It's very important. Your life is valuable. People do care about you.
So do we.
And so do we. And if you need somebody to talk to, even on that, you could message any one of us. Join our Discord, reach out to us, and we'll be a support system for you. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful night. We will see you next month, hopefully without a delay this time.
It should be January 6th.
Yeah, and buckle in because we're going to have a lot to talk about. We've got a big meeting coming up for end of year. We've got a lot of big plans, a lot of new ideas that we're going to be farting around with over the next year. So make sure you stay tuned because it's going to be a big one. So we'll see you all next month and
next year.
Next year. Oh, yeah. We'll see you next year. Have a good night, everybody.
Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
And a Merry Christmas.
Be safe and reach out if you need help.
Right.